Hello guys, it's going to be a 7-game NBA slate for today, January 17th, 2020. And starting off at, like usual, at point guard, Luka Doncic, most expensive player, 12.4K. This is a very good matchup against the Blazers, who have one of the worst defensive ratings in the league. But right now on this slate, it doesn't look like it has a ton of value. And Luka, it's just a decision whether you want to play him or not. And for right now, I'm going to have to say I'm going to fade him. Porzingis is currently questionable, so if he's back, then it's going to be an easier fade. But still, even if Porzingis plays, definitely Luka has that kind of upside of 70, 80 DraftKings points in a really good spot. So he probably will be low owned if there's no value because it's just hard for people to fit him in. But I will still take some shots on Luka if Porzingis is out. Probably not. Not even gonna have my player pool if Porzingis is gonna play, but just depends on value. Next, Trae Young, 10.2K against the Spurs. The Spurs defense is not that great this year. I feel like they just have this like perception of them being the top defensive team, but it's not it. They're not playing as good of defense. They're also playing a lot faster. And Trae Young, we know he's just gonna play massive minutes. Jeff Teague, Trevion Graham, the new Hawks players, they're not gonna be available for this game. So Trae Young, it's not gonna affect them either way if they played. But 10.2K, it's not a bad spot at all. Just kind of like the same thing with Luka though. It doesn't feel like a priority play for now without the value. Same with Ben Simmons. He definitely has triple double upside. It is a good match against the Bulls. They are a solid defensive team, but Ben Simmons he plays just he does everything on the court except obviously shooting, but like rebounding. The Bulls are just so hurt now at the center position. They do have Luke Cornett possibly starting, but he's not that good of a rebounder. He's just a pretty big guy. But Simmons, he still has triple double upside. It's just his price is really up there now. Next, Dame Lillard, 8,500 against the Mavericks. His price is going down now, and we know that he still carries a lot of usage. It is a little bit lower than Melo now on the team, but still, I like this spot regardless of that ranking saying that Dallas is first against point guards. It's just Damian Lillard. We know the upside that he has. He usually gets you like 40 points at least, and he has a whole lot of upside of 60, like over 60 even. So his price is pretty affordable here, 8,500. Next, John Morant, I want to play him because it is a good matchup. He's been playing so well, but his price is so up there now, and we don't know what his minutes are going to look like. Maybe 37 is something we can expect. Maybe it was just a fluke. We don't really know, so I'm kind of not really want to play him for this slate. But Malcolm Brogdon, again, 7K, same matchup. And now this is going to be at home for the Pacers. With Sabonis in, I still really like Brogdon. The matchup is just really nice. And now without Jeff Teague, who isn't the best defender anyway, but Shabazz Napier, he's a way worse defender. And Brogdon, he's still too cheap. This is a guy that should probably be priced up where around John Morant is, and they play pretty similar minutes. Brogdon a little bit higher on the season, I believe, but 7K, he's a guy that does a little bit of everything, so I really like Brogdon. Gonna be another core play for me on this slate. Next, Goran Dragic, he's a little bit cheaper now, 5,300 against OKC. OKC's defense is not bad, but it's not something that it feels like it's something that we need to worry about. Again, Tyler Hero is questionable, so that's probably a benefit for everyone, like Kendrick Nunn, but Nunn is priced up there now at 6,200, so I prefer to go to Dragic if Tyler Hero is out. Next, Thomas Satoransky, also 5,300. It's a tough matchup against the Sixers, but Sato is just a guy that does a little bit of everything on the court. He's a big point guard. Something to note is that DraftKings has made a lot of these guys only single position eligibility. So we're used to seeing a lot of these point guards being shooting guard eligible, like Napier. Sato had small forward eligibility, but now they just kind of wiped a lot of these away. And I mean, I'm okay with that, but they need to be more consistent with this. Like some of these guys, I believe they took away Serge Ibaka's power forward eligibility. Like he started last game with Marcus Gasol alongside each other. Sure, he's more of a backup center, but they still have multiple eligibility for like a lot of these guys, so it just feels kind of weird. Next though, Shabazz Napier, 5K. There's no Jeff Teague here. I think he's going to be pretty popular because he is a guy that is pretty productive out there on the court, especially if Towns is out. Towns actually does have a pretty good chance of playing though today. It's more of an illness now. It's not. He's kind of past that knee injury. Napier 5K, I think he's pretty affordable. He probably can see 30 or over 30 minutes now. Pacers are a good defense, but Napier, he just is going to have to do a whole lot. Minutes are more secure now without Teague on the team. Now to shooting guard, Zach LaVine, 8,700. He's expensive, but he still has a whole lot of upside. Like, he's been really solid for the past month plus now. He's just scoring the ball a whole lot, and he's actually a pretty solid peripherals guy now. It is a tough matchup. Josh Richardson probably is going to guard him, or Matisse Thybulle. 8,700 is an all right price. I think that you can definitely take shots on him in tournaments, but it just feels like I'd rather go to a guy like DeRozan, Butler, or Beal. Like Jimmy Butler, 7,800. It's too cheap. He, for some reason, wasn't that aggressive last game. He wasn't really scoring. He didn't take that many shots, but we know Jimmy Butler's a guy that has a whole lot of upside in him. He gets a lot of defensive stats. He does everything in the court, basically. He's the alpha for the Heat, and he has multi-position eligibility. He can definitely put up a ceiling game here, and he just feels cheap. Same thing with Bradley Beal. He's in a tough matchup against Toronto. OG Anunoby probably guards him or something, but same thing with him. He's a lot cheaper. Like, he should be a 9K player. His minutes, definitely, they're not there for now for whatever reason, but I would expect them, if they're going to keep this game close, it's going to have to be Bradley Beal. They're going to need him out there. It is going to be a third game back. He only missed 11 days, so I don't think it's like that much of an issue. We don't really know. Maybe the Wizards are like kind of done with the season or something, but he's just a guy that has a whole lot of ceiling, and 7,600. He's a guy that can go out there. If a ceiling game hits, he can get like 7, 8x. That's just how good he is. Next, CJ McCollum, 6,800. Doesn't feel like a priority play here. It's almost to a point where I'd rather play Lillard now over CJ because the price is getting a little bit closer. But CJ McCollum, we know he's a scorer, how talented he is offensively, so I still like him. Definitely doesn't do a whole lot of peripherals, but still the Blazers are a very good offensive team, so I still like CJ. Next, now looking at value, there's Jeremy Lamb, 4,600. His minutes are just inconsistent. If he plays well, he's going to get probably some more minutes, but he's a guy that doesn't take that many shots, and now with Brogdon back, it's kind of tough. But Lamb, he definitely has a good ceiling. Minnesota, they're not a good defense. They play really fast, so it definitely can go right for Jeremy Lamb, but only for tournaments. Cash, don't play this guy. Next, Seth Curry, just another tournament option, 3,700. He's going to play against his old team in the Blazers. He's only shooting guard eligibility now. If you're like desperate for value, Seth Curry's a guy that can get hot from three. But if Porzingis is back, just another guy that I would not consider. Only tournaments though, not cash. Small forward, DeMar DeRozan, 8,100. I think Tobias is a little bit overpriced now. Chicago's not that bad of a defense, so I actually don't really want Tobias. I think I prefer Simmons over Tobias. I probably prefer Horford as well. But the Sixers, even now without Embiid, I just really like them. But this just isn't that great of a spot now with them all priced up. DeMar DeRozan, though, in an excellent spot against the Hawks, playing at home, still has shooting guard, small forward. 8,100. His price is going up, but he deserves it. He's been so solid consistently. He's shooting really well, and I don't think it's that crazy to think that he can sustain this because he's a guy that works in the mid-range game, drives the basket. So 54% of the year, it's definitely high, but he's just a guy that is able to get to the rim, really good shot creator for himself, and he's still the main Spurs guy. So this is a good matchup for him. 8,100, price right. I like him. Next, Jimmy Butler, once again, mention him. And then Andrew Wiggins, 6,700. Without Jeff Teague, maybe Wiggins can get more ball handling duties, be better of a scorer. But if Towns is back, I probably won't want to play Wiggins. He's just not been that aggressive like how we've seen earlier on in the year. So it's a little bit of a concern, definitely. I will have a little bit, though, if Towns is out. And then on to power forward, Domantas Sabonis, 8,600. Lastly, I think it's like 3% owned. I wish I had more. I think I had like 25% or something. He was too cheap, 8,300. And this time around in the same matchup, 8,600. Even if Towns is in, I'm not really scared of him. Towns is just a horrific defender. And Sabonis, he's going to play some pretty heavy minutes. He has a knee injury, but it seems like it's past him. And he's just too cheap. 8,600. He's a guy that gets you a double-double pretty much every night, and he's a solid passer for a big man. He's not that good of a defender, but if he can run out there, do something because he just plays heavy minutes, he can get into them. He has just a whole lot of upside. I don't think he's gonna be that low, and I think he probably gets in like the 20s for ownership today, which it sucks, but I'm not going to really be too concerned with that. I just still like Sabonis. He should be a 9K plus player. Next is Pascal Siakam, 7,900. Excellent spot for all these Raptors against the Wizards, but they are getting a lot healthier. It seems like some of these Raptors are probably on the minutes restriction. Fred VanVleet, questionable currently. Siakam, his minutes were capped at 30 once again. I think his third game being back, maybe he can get up to like 32 or something at least, but his price is definitely too low. Like, if you were to play his usual load of minutes, he should be like 9K. So, Siakam against the Wizards, I really like that. You can play him at center as well. Um, so, I really like Siakam, 7,900, just a really solid play. Probably going to be a core play for me almost. Other guys, I like Kevin Love. 7,200 is a very good pace-up matchup for these guys. Definitely there's concern with Love just because of like the trade rumors and minutes, but if they keep this game close, which I think they could, um, Kevin Love, his price is definitely nice, 7,200. He's a guy that also can get you a double-double, and he shoots threes, gets you a bonus, so Love is interesting. But I think Aldridge is the safer play, 7,100. He hasn't been that great recently, but that's also because DeMar DeRozan has just been absolutely unstoppable. Aldridge is still going to play his usual heavy minutes. He's a guy that we know is unstoppable in the post. He's 7,100. It just feels a little bit cheap here. The Hawks, they play fast, pace up spot for them. Aldridge is a guy that definitely has 60-point upside, so I am very interested in Aldridge, more even over Love. Jaren Jackson, more of a tournament play, but he's a guy that just always is in foul trouble. You never know, but he's a guy that's so talented, so he's got a lot of upside. He has 40, close to 50-point upside. I really like Jaren Jackson. It's always about foul trouble though, so he's usually like never a cash play. Cheaper Robert Covington, 5,700. He's a guy that I will like if Towns is out. He's a phenomenal defender, 3-and-D guy. He rebounds really well, but if Towns is back, that definitely is going to cut into Covington's rebounding stats. Next is Davis Bertans, 5,300. He's only power forward eligible now. His minutes have been limited. If he's not on a restriction this time, I will play him. If he's on a restriction still, I'm probably not going to play any of him. But he's 5,300. Is a tough matchup against the Raptors, but Bertans is just, he's been a really solid shooter. He's been rebounding the ball pretty well. And because he's so talented offensively, he has a pretty nice floor of 20, and he's only 5,300. So that means that he's got a whole lot of upside. Like, I would say close to 40-point upside. He's topped that even, but that's also because of a whole lot of other injuries. Bertans though, 5,300 seems pretty solid for just as a play in general. If you're really looking for value, Mike Scott is down here, but he didn't start last game. Maybe he starts this time again. Don't really know, but he's 3,200, so if he's able to start, he's a really low floor guy. Doesn't have a high ceiling, but if you really need the value. Then lastly on the center, Hassan Whiteside, 8,400. He plays a lot better at home, but Dallas isn't something that I'm worried about. He has a whole lot of upside. He's just usually playing heavy 30s in minutes, and he's a double-double guy that averages almost 3 blocks a game. So there's certainly a lot of block upside, especially with Luka driving the rim. Next, Bam Adebayo, 8,200. Against OKC, Steven Adams is not on an injury report, but he's a tough guy inside, but it's not really something that I'm worried about. Like Steven Adams, he's had let opposing centers have some big games. Bam's a guy that just is able to do a whole lot. Like on the court, he contributes in pretty much every category, so I like Bam. He has close to triple-double upside, so I like Bam. Jimmy Butler probably more though. And then John Collins, 7,700. His minutes are kind of weird right now. Don't really know what's going on. They're also getting back Bruno Fernando, who cuts some of the center minutes, but John Collins, we know he's just the next guy alongside Trae Young. The Spurs, maybe there's some foul trouble risk, but Collins does get into that. Possibly guarding Marcus Aldridge, but he's got a whole lot of upside himself. Tournament play, though, I definitely prefer to go to Aldridge. Next is going to be Al Horford, 7,500. One of the best matchups for opposing centers, but he is priced up there. But without Embiid, this is a price tag that I'm willing to pay. He's getting high 30s, around 40 DraftKings points a game recently. This is a really solid matchup. This is probably the best spot. You can argue Brooklyn, but the Bulls, they're so weak rebounding, and they're now like down a lot of players. They don't have depth at the center position. So Al Horford, I really like him. He hasn't really been shooting well. Like if you're watching these Sixers games, his shot is just off, especially from three. So if he has a good shooting game, Man, like 7,500, even though it's a price increase, he probably isn't going to be as popular because of that, but this guy's going to have 50 plus point upside. Next is Jonas Valanciunas, just a tournament play. He's a guy that can get you like a 20 and 10, 2015 game, so always in play. Tristan Thompson as well. He's a guy that has some really solid games so far this year, but only tournaments. And then Gorgie Zhang, also a tournament option. He did play some pretty heavy minutes last time because they definitely need size out there against Sabonis and Miles Turner. But obviously, don't play him if Towns is out or if Towns is in. Other guys, Luke Cornett, 4,900. He possibly will get the start. He's more of a stretch big, but he does block some shots because he is really tall, and because of his height, he's gonna run into rebounds. So he does seem pretty affordable. He could be chalky depending on what other value opens up, but it looks like he's probably gonna play 30 plus minutes. It doesn't seem like they want to play Cristiano Felicio at the center position. We don't really know what the lineup is gonna be like, but Cornette just makes sense. He's gonna be probably a little bit popular though. And then Marcus Gasol, 4,800. This is too cheap against the Wizards. Even though they're getting healthier, Gasol's a guy. We know him as just a very solid defender, all around player, really good guy. But I mean, 4,800. He played 32 minutes last time against OKC. This is one of the best matchups for opposing centers, and he's only 4,800, playing a lot of huge minutes. Sure, there's an argument that can be made. Maybe they go to Ibaka. Maybe this is a better spot for him because he's more mobile, but I mean, they played Gasol 32 minutes against OKC, and that's a game where Steven Adams missed. He got hurt in the first quarter. So they had a lot of Mike Muscala out there who was a stretch big. You would expect maybe a guy like Serge Ibaka can be a better perimeter defender guarding him, but Gasol still got 32 minutes, so I'm not concerned if they go Thomas Bryant or Pashnix, Mahimi, whoever it is. So I like Gasol quite a lot here. He's never going to be a big-time rebounder, but he's just a guy that's so solid defensively. He can do everything on the court, and 4,800, there has to be a whole lot that goes wrong for this to just burn you. Even if it gets you like 25, that's not bad at all. So overall for this slate, my favorite play, I mean, Brogdon, Sabonis, Gasol, Siakam, all these guys I really like. So I'm just gonna plug those guys. I think Brogdon a priority play, and then I think Siakam with Gasol is fine. They're just as a whole, their team is just in a very good spot. Shabazz Napier, he's probably gonna see extended minutes, and then Domantas Sabonis, of course, and then I think another guy, probably more tournaments though, so I think I'd stick with these five. But I think Bradley Beal, he's too cheap. Same with Jimmy Butler. So just find a way, like if you play both, I don't think you can't fit both of these guys, but try to like definitely try to alternate if you're playing multiple lineups. I think I'll just go with these guys: Brogdon, Siakam, Marcus Gasol, Shabazz Napier, and Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis would be probably my favorite play on the slate though. So here are my top 5 picks for this Friday 7-game NBA slate on January 17th. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. Please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions on the slate, DFS in general, you can always leave them down in the YouTube comments section down below. If you want to DM me on Twitter, it's at Boffles, or you can also add me on there. I will always be active. I'm on Twitter quite a lot. So good luck on this slate, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.